Welcome to BX ESPN Live, your home for national sports coverage. In today's episode, we'll be responding to a statement put out by a podcaster named Gallivating. In this episode, he was comparing other NBA players who had played at the age of 4 and was arguing that LeBron James' longevity of playing at a high level at the age of 40 put him in the conversation as the greatest basketball player of all time. I will play this clip, and once I play this clip, I then will come back with my final take.
So just TBD for San Antonio. I gotta ask.
You're 41 years old. Of course, there's always
Didn't look like it. Didn't look like it.
Every back-to-back for the rest of the season is TBD. I am 41. I got the most minutes in NBA history.
True.
Bank it right now, okay? What are we talking about?
Just you don't look like you're 41 on the court.
But I am. December 30th, 1984, 4:39 p.m. That's when I was born.
Oh, I never knew your birth time before.
When I came out, slapped the doctor in the ass.
First of all, LeBron is definitely in his old man era. You said you came out at 4:39 p.m. and did what?
When I came out, slapped the doctor in the ass.
Okay, so last season I made a video talking about how LeBron's stats measured up against all 32 NBA players who played into their 40s and beyond. But now LeBron is how old?
I am 41.
So in part 2, we're going to compare LeBron's stats from this season at 41 years old compared to all 13 players who played till 41 and beyond. But before that, let's bow our heads in a moment of silence for all 19 players who didn't make it to 41. A video talking about how LeBron played into their 40s and beyond. But now LeBron is how old?
I am 41.
So in part 2, we're going to compare LeBron's stats from this season at 41 years old compared to all 13 players who played till 41 and beyond. But before that, let's bow our heads in a moment of silence for all 19 players who didn't make it to 41. So ISO Joe Johnson, retired at 40. Jamal Crawford, well, Jay crossed over into NBC telecasting because he didn't play after 40. Andre Miller, Denver Nuggets point guard. I remember him with Carmelo Anthony back in the day. He didn't play after 40. Charles Oakley, the Bruiser. Juwan Howard, Captain Canada, Steve Nash. Didn't play after 40. Jason Kidd, one of the best passers to ever do it. Now an incredible coach. Didn't play after 40. Rick Mahorn. James Edwards, Grant Hill, Michael Jordan, John Long, Kurt Thomas, New York Knicks, Karl Malone, top 75 Karl Malone, Utah Jazz, the Mailman, Cliff Robinson, Jason Terry, Disco Dirk Nowitzki, Manu Left Hand Ginobili, and Chris Paul, which is crazy because if Chris Paul didn't get fired from the Clippers and they made a far playoff push, Chris Paul could have played till he was 41 because his birthday is in May. But him and all the rest ended their career at 40 years old.
None of us should argue that LeBron James is a great player and a Hall of Famer. But to say he is the GOAT, or let's say like the BOAT. How can we forget that today's game is much softer than it was in the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s. Just look at the court spacing. You have now wide open threes that are not even contested. Let's look at this basic play called 21. As we can see, there's a minimum set play that's pretty much designed for the average person to get a basic and easy layup. I mean, as we can see, this play is set for a baby to be able to hit a shot. With the new rules that they have now put in place since 2016, the game now has become more international game and play. So you see there's more centers and more big men that's now out in the floor holding the basketball and touching it more, which in return leaves more of the players out to space the court to where you get more easier jump shots. In the old way the game used to be played in the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s, even coming up into 2010, you had more of physicality, more defensive-minded players, more defensive strategies. So the game was more set to bring more of a physicality that would consist of more wear and tear on the body, more hard play, or more risk, more wear on the body. So therefore, it became to a point where a lot of the players of the old era would find their bodies wearing down faster due to that physicality of the game. But where you have today, where there's less touching and more spacing, gives the players a longevity to play the game. Let's look at players that used to play in the early 80s, 90s, and the 2000s when they would get an Achilles injury. Most people who played during those eras caught Achilles. In most cases, they would not be able to recover and be able to still have a successful career. But let's look at some of the players of today. A lot of them today, like Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, and a few others, are still able to play the game at a high level based off the fact that the game has now changed its rules and the way that physicality of the game is being played, which would basically give a player a longevity to play that game. Not to mention LeBron James in this case, he's a power forward. Most power forwards play a longer career than maybe a shooting guard or a guard or one that do more running and touching the basketball and going up and down the court more. So when you understand the basis of that, then we understand that you will have players that appear that they have a longevity due to that. But it has a lot to do with the nature of the game and the way the game is being played today. Well, family, we do like to thank you for tuning in to another episode of BX ESPN Live. If you haven't, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, peace.